Yeah, nobody in the deep part of the field. He evades Reed. Reed's got him. And that little shake just can't.
That's good against good. Nacua against Witherspoon. Who's going to win that matchup? Just enough separation. And how about the ball?
Off that blaze out move, Stafford drops it right in the bucket. Nacua tracking it down. Watch the outcut, and then the up on Reed. Doesn't get his hands on him. Stafford makes a perfect throw. You see how those plays complement one another, KB? Obviously, it takes great hands to come down.
Over the last 4 games, watching PUKA NACUA, it's a season-long highlight reel for most wide receivers. This guy is as physical at the point of the catch as anyone I've seen really since I played with Michael Irvin. It's amazing watching this guy. If the ball's anywhere in his vicinity.
Playmakers making plays. And look, Mike Jackson is in a perfect position here. He doesn't bite on the double move. I mean, this is textbook as far as the technique that you would teach the corner. But you can't teach that.
Unreal from PUKA NACUA. He got up after that and added 4 more yards to what is one of the best catches you will see.
There's really nice timing and rhythm. This ball is going to come out of Stafford's hand before NACUA even gets his head around. And
here's the route. Just a little stutter at that move point, which is about 14 yards. That's where the intermediate passing takes place. So when you can just freeze the defensive back's foot, even the slightest bit.
Get ready for this today. This is not on you. You're doing a good job with your technique. You're funneling your back outside. How do you defend that? I mean, how do you defend the back shoulder throw that's in sync that good? I mean, that is so impressive between Matthew Stafford and PUKA NACUA. And that's PUKA NACUA. Yeah, they're finding that matchup with Xavier Howard. You know, we talked about it before where it was just tough. He turns him around right there, and he loses that step. And let me tell you, Matthew Stafford is not going to miss PUKA NACUA very often when he's got that step.
Yeah, this is becoming super common. You're going to see a C-gap entry on play-action pass. You see this at all levels of football. PUKA NACUA, his ability to be used as a blocker, he almost has the vibe, Joe, of like how a tight end can benefit.
At the top of their route, then these receivers, watch this little double wiggle right as he gets to the breaking point at the top, and just no chance whatsoever to make that play on the outside for McCollum.
Number one option, again, the short under. You stem it, the go route open by 3 yards. There on Tampa.
And he does this without getting an offensive pass interference called on him, right? It's clean. You can't do anything. But it creates so much space, and that's all Matthew Stafford needs. He just needs that little break coming into the game. Just so hard because he's always in motion. And you can tell that Mekhi Blackman has him man-to-man. It's just a really good job right there.
Who had a big first half. And this is so challenging for defense because you have 2 of the best guys on one side. So if I'm the secondary and I'm the corner, I'm looking and saying, all right, do I sit on PUKA? Do I sit on Devontae? If you don't do either, then you get the...
We talked about the drop back. Now this is going to be a play action, and you have PUKA just understanding leverage. He's got the inside leverage.
16, where they finally are able to get him where he's got some room to work, and it has a lot to do with Matthew Stafford, who can...
Stafford lining up with Robertson. NACUA on the outbreaker. Not a great throw, slightly behind him. Robertson definitely had a chance to knock that away, but those straight there outside on one-on-one with Green. A short under route with those strong hands. Former teammate of mine, and this is the one guy you can't leave open on 3rd down. PUKA NACUA right to the middle, silent count, and then this is just NACUA on the backside. Reek Woolen trying to lock him up. So there's a lot of bodies inside, but Stafford sticks it on him so quickly.
PUKA on the inside, and as I mentioned, he reads the coverage just like Stafford. This 50-50 ball against the rookie Denzel Burke. It's Burke's opportunity to see if he can get this coverage. If not, PUKA goes with the one-handed grab.
That's the second one of these strong-handed catches in a row with NACUA. You know, he throws it behind him, and then NACUA just reaches back and plucks this thing, and more so than anything, just his ability to break tackles. He's just got such lower body strength and can just step out of those with just...
PUKA's the outside man, and you're just watching him run this corner route. I mean, it gets no better than that. Coverage is good. Throw is great. Catch is great.
It's kind of just creating a little bit of space, creating that matchup. Now he's got the matchup that he wants. We saw this last week. How about the hands? Being able to reach out away from his body in front of the defender and being able to bring that ball somehow back to him. They're now 2 or 3 on 4th down. Try to stop it. In fact, they use Leonard Williams to drop to try to get into that throwing lane. You see him there.
And then just watch this route. He's going to go up and back inside. And this is a nice break by Buda Baker. Jalen Thompson was playing.
One of the best offensive minds in football. He understands that there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on Puka Nacua. So the idea of being able to move him around, that time he aligns in the backfield in a traditional running back set.
There's Puka right there in the slot. And what you're going to see is he goes, he reads his zone. One thing I've always liked about him, he reads coverages just like a quarterback. So he identifies the coverage as he's running his route. Stafford already identified it as well. And then he makes Stafford right going back.
Well, 3rd down, we talked about Devontae Adams out. Chances are you're going to go to Puka Nacua. They're bracketing him. They're trying to get the safety over to help. Eamon does come over to keep him out of the end zone, but a good job of getting that one in there to give them a chance here on this 4th and short to see if they go for it when we get back.
Spot with Lawrence in the backfield and then gives Nacua time to get down the field. That's who Matthews looking for every single play. He's been a dominant receiver since he's come into the league. He makes downfield.
Can line up inside, outside, block, doesn't matter. Contested catches, you name it.
And there's the late motion again to create the space for the inside cut right there. Nice throw, goes up and over the linebacker, Ernest Jones. And like you say, Al, he's not only a guy that can make plays downfield, he can do it all. He's known for everything, whether it's blocking, just a great feel, the instincts.
One on the season.
Yeah. Puka's done this so many times, working against a rookie Burke. You see the physicality from Puka. He likes to get into these corners, especially these smaller corners, because he knows he can use his strength to push.
Watch him drop into this lane on this crosser. He's got to wait for him to clear. Not now, but right there. Nobody throws that ball better than Matthew Stafford. That in-breaking dig route.
Does this more than anybody I know. He runs his routes in between people, sometimes between the guard and the tackle, that time between the tackle and the tight end, but it is very difficult to try and follow him. And then
Sherless, they ended up colliding. Last thing Carolina can afford here is losing anybody down the stretch. Yeah, Stafford just continues to get all of his production in between the numbers, and Pedro Avero.
So much about Puka Nacua is his ability to be brave. When you're running that fast across the middle of the field against the rookie Blake Corum, look at his eyes right out there. They've been burning them with those blitzes off the edge. Matthew Stafford.
But he was telling us about the fluid movement, the spatial awareness that he has learned from.
With his right toe. Watch this. He knows where he is. See how he just stubs that toe down into the ground? That is like teach tape around the league.
Looks outside, and then he brings it inside to Puka. Just sensational. Side-eyeing Puka there into the end zone.
Can't trust those lion eyes.
I mean, I'm not sure there's a better zone receiver in football than Puka Nacua, and of course he probably.
I mean, it's just a simple corner route right here. You're going to funnel him down the field, but there's no help over the top. There's a huge void out there between.
They're going to come with this blitz down here. Nacua is going to be wide open. Just pitch and catch at that point. Those guys have done that so many times, and Puka Nacua is as good as any receiver this entire season.
Likes to finish his plays, right? He catches the football. There was a little bit of pressure on Stafford. Going to naturally revert to Puka. But look at him run after the catch. That's probably the best thing he does.
To watch this offense when it's functioning. Now, a lot of times you think this screen is going outside. But with Puka Nacua, he's going to come back into the middle of the field. I mean, it's a great job by everybody. You got your wide receivers outside. Alaric Jackson does a great job, paying back Kyron Williams.
This is outstanding. Matthew Stafford, that big arm I talked about, outside the numbers, places it perfectly for Puka, who gets behind Kool-Aid McKinstry. Notice how late Puka put his arms out. There was no way for Kool-Aid to make a play on that football. He just didn't know when it was going to land.
Kevin, you mentioned it before, right? How many first down catches he has. And it's just that
24-yard completion.
This is something really interesting that the Rams have added to their playbook this year. That was a 7-step drop from under center by Matthew Stafford. That's old school Bill Walsh football.
This little bit of motion allows a clean release for Nacua. Stafford knows right away where Nakua's going, and it's way too big of a void in that zone between the middle linebacker, the weak side linebacker. Too easy. Motion over. Stout one-on-one with Nakua. He's got a two-way go. He can go in or out. He presses in and then bounces off his body. Stafford knows right away I'm throwing there. Literally 100% of the time, I'm going to my guy Nakua on third down when I get that matchup.
The ability to manipulate coverages in that manner.
One of the best things he does is with his eyes, Ian, and here obviously he has Puka coming across the middle, but what Matthew Stafford can do, we've seen the
cut by Nakua from the inside, plants, and then just gets up in the air. They have great chemistry.
Step on the outside with Tua. Watch Tutu Atwell moving around. And Nakua to his left. See the corner doesn't go inside with him. Nobody picks up the one guy you want to make sure on third down. Not only have one, maybe two, is number 12. That's where he does most of his damage.
Well, on this drive, they got over 50.
And Kevin, what you're doing here is you see the safety in the middle of the field. He has two seam routes. So he has Nakua going up the right side. There's a receiver going up the inside edge of the numbers on the other side. And you're just trying to hold the safety with your eyes. Lassiter is influenced because there's an outside receiver running an out route.
That in the slot, there's no question where that ball is going. Before he even hits his back foot, he's made his mind up. He's throwing that ball to Puka Nacua.
On third down by quarterback Matthew Stafford.
Great wrap route by Nakua. Watch underneath. All of a sudden you get the reaction of the underneath defender.
Pressure in Stafford's face.
They're going to get him for flexing there, taunting.
Yeah, late flag came in after the Nakua catch.
Just finding little creases within the zones and the timing that he has with Matthew Stafford.
Of all time, but those dudes wearing the jerseys are pretty good too.
Exactly right. And that's the combination that you want.
Well, you're going to see Nakua's right in the middle. He's going to just run up and run a dig. You'll see Adams working across. Watch the timing of it. As soon as he comes out of the throw, that ball's in the air, which allows him to make that catch before Toto gets there.
To the LA sideline.
You're going to see just a little follow route right here. It's kind of Puka sliding in there behind and catching it for a first down, putting up the